Bienvenidos a Red Lip Latina Radio, the bold, unapologetic voice of San Antonio and beyond. We're turning up the heat on local, state, and national issues while breaking it down with real talk and real passion. From the streets of San Antonio to the halls of power at the White House, we're keeping you informed, engaged, and fired up. And because patriotism is more than just words, we're shining a spotlight on real change makers, the fearless, the hardworking patriots making a difference in our communities. This is Red Lip Latina Radio, where we speak loud, proud, and with a little extra spice. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Red Lip Latina Radio. Thank you for tuning in on this fine Christmas Thursday evening. Merry Christmas, first of all. My name is Cindy Dominguez, and this is my beautiful co-host,
Jessica Garza. I'm so happy to have everybody here today on our last recording.
So I hope that y'all tuned in last week to our Christmas special. We had all these beautiful children come together and host our show. So we had the Kaylin and Stassi takeover. It was a lot of fun. Y'all can go back and re-watch that on Red Lip Latina Radio on Facebook or on our YouTube, Red Lip Latina. So we're super grateful that they came in and took over. It was quite a relief to take the night off and enjoy our Christmas night together with our families. But today we are hosting our New Year's edition, our New Year's special. So Happy New Year, guys. It's not
Happy
New Year yet, right? But
almost.
So we brought in, I guess, our political finest, right? Mr. Greg Brockhouse. I love having him on the show because I feel like, well, not only is a mentor, but he's always a step ahead of the game when it comes to politics. And if I have to look for someone to talk politics to, I'm always happy to reach out to Greg. Greg, tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you, right? So I appreciate y'all asking me to come in at the start of a new year and have a conversation about politics. So we go from a season of joy and happiness and Christmas and Thanksgiving, then we start talking about politics. So it's not exactly a good transition. Nobody wants to talk about politics. We wish we didn't have to, obviously, but look, there's so much going on in our city, in our state, and nationally that people need to be informed. So thank you to the both of you for always, number one, having the conversation, right, and inviting people to come in and talk, and then recording this and putting it out for people to see what's happening and to learn a little bit. The most important thing you could do is at least have a little bit of information about what you're voting on or who you're voting for, to listen to different opinions, right? I would encourage that this isn't the only place you get your information from. No offense, right, to the Red Lip Latina. But I think you have to look. You have to find information. And then you form your opinion, and then you go out and you make a vote, or you volunteer for somebody, or you do a little something extra in our community to make it a little bit better. But you should do it from an informed perspective, not from some, people vote just based on, hey, this person showed up at my door, or I got this piece of mail, or the last name is Rodriguez, and or the last name is Johnson, or, we don't go second level just to ask basic questions to figure out what's happening in our community and the things we can do. So, yeah, ask away. I'm thankful to be here, and it's going to be a great year. Who would have thought it'd be 2026 already? Yesterday, I swear I just graduated from John Jay, and that's like 35 years ago. So this time is going by super fast, and we should take every moment we can to do the best we can and talk and have a conversation. So thank you.
Well, John Jay has been remodeled since then, so it's new.
Same new building, same people, my man. We're always the same.
Same raza.
We don't change.
If you're from Marbach, you're from Marbach.
I'm from Marbach. I'm not gonna lie, I'm from Marbach.
Hey, I'm from Marbach too. I graduated from a school down the road at Penn Road in Marbach. So I grew up on Marbach, and then what was it called? Something Heights. Not Adams Hill, but the next one, Marbach. I don't know.
It's all right. It's been a long time, but there's Marbach, there's Penn Road, there's Dogtown. There's all kinds of wonderful neighborhoods over there. In Lackland, yes, it's over there. So, but I love that area. I grew up there.
So you're really familiar with that area because that was your district, right? That was
yes,
originally.
I served on the city council, District 6. It's been quite a few years ago now. I've ran for different political offices, won some, lost some. And, and I've helped people run campaigns. I've ran them, I've been on them, I've assisted with the block wagon, with the phone banking, with the messaging, strategy, communications, data. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. Kind of done that for the last 20 years, too. So I try to get involved wherever I can.
What are you going to do this year? Are you gonna run for something?
2026.
Yeah,
Ooh, are we spilling the beans on the show?
Yeah, we need to know.
Spill the frijoles. Let's do it.
No, look, 2026 is already set, right? So the filing period ended December 8th. That doesn't mean somebody might step down or something always happens in politics.
Special election.
Yeah, something always happens. So, what I try to do is, I've been in so many battles over the years. And I mean, some of the toughest political battles in the city's history that I've been in as a candidate or on the campaign side, but predominantly as a candidate. And I've taken when you go down the list of people in this community who've been in some tough campaigns or taken the most arrows, it's really just me and probably Nico LaHood. I think we're the two at the top of that list of people who have been in really tough situations and hard campaigns. And we're still standing, like we don't go away. And I think that's part of what I take into account when I look at what's the next opportunity. I don't like to lose, but frankly, we're in a city that's very difficult for a conservative or Republican to win in. So you have to be very careful. It's probably only 3 or 4 seats that a Republican could win. So you have to start thinking, where's the next step? Because you don't want to lose, but you also don't want to not have a voice or have people running for public office. And so you just really look at it and you try to wait it out. 2026, I chose not to run for anything. I'm just trying. Look, I was in so many tough battles up until about 2021, and then COVID hit, and that destroyed just everything. I mean, my business and all kinds of other stuff. It has been a struggle. So I think in politics, if you have an interest in it, this is what I tell people all the time. If you have an interest in it, let's say you get involved and you run and you lose, right? That's not a bad thing. In San Antonio, if you're an incumbent, chances are 95% of the time you're going to win your race just because you're an incumbent. So if you're challenging people who have already been in it or who people know or who are the incumbent, your success level is very low. But you have to engage and you have to start somewhere, so you have to keep going. So I always tell people that just because you lose, you can't go away. If you go away, why were you here in the first place? Like if were you only here to win?
Yeah, and we know when they go away. Like, we know.
You know what?
We know when those people were here on the ballot and then they left and they hid.
Think about it. Man, that's a great point. Think about the people that they showed up when they wanted an election, right? There was somebody who was on the ballot and then they ran for office. And we were all with them. All the events, they showed up at all the clubs. They showed up on your radio. They were everywhere, on your podcast. And then they're knocking doors, they're wanting our vote, they're giving the speeches, and then they lose in the primary or the general election or the city election, right? The most recent one being a city election. So it's June 8th, this is the campaign, right, on the runoff. They lose, and June 9th, where are they? Never to be seen or heard from again.
And won't
They're
answer
gone.
calls. Yep.
And they won't answer calls. And then they'll appear again in the future when the race is up again or there's another. Those people, I think you need to take stock. I'm not saying they shouldn't run. I'm just saying, why were you running? Like, why are you here in the first place? Because you were only here to get the vote, to get the job. And if you didn't win the job, you didn't really want to help the city or the district or the state. Your choice was you wanted to be elected. And those people, I think, need to learn a valuable lesson, which is just because you didn't win doesn't mean the rest of us aren't still stuck in the same problems you uncovered in your political campaign, right? And they're very true. Those answers are very true. That when you're campaigning, these candidates, they'll rise real issues to the top, but then they leave and don't help solve them if they didn't win. Like, what is that? Like,
so then I feel used.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've been around for 28 years also doing the same thing,
Well, you lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
so that's what I wanted to highlight.
You lost the city council race.
I lost the city council, but I didn't cry for my race. I cried for your loss.
Well, I cried at my loss. But you didn't give up and disappear.
But I was also around 22 years before that. Yeah. I put in a lot of work. So now it's been 28 years, you know what I mean? So I put in the work. I put in all kinds of campaigns, from local to state reps, congressional, federal, even the presidential. I worked for, Latinos for Trump back in the day. So I've done all kinds of campaigns, like you, block, walk, sweat, in the rain, in 115-degree heat in Nevada, and then below 15 in Iowa. So I've been through, and I love that picture of you standing in the rain with your arms out, your great Black House
Oh
sign.
yeah, I mean
Remember?
it's
Like,
yeah,
so
and
we've
then
been through it all, the storms.
not
and all.
anybody. Look, everybody, if you want to run. I'm not saying don't run.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, what are you doing when you're not running?
exactly.
And we go, okay, you didn't win.
Like, stay, help,
What did
recruit
you want?
others.
What did you want to win?
Yeah.
That's the real question, right? You wanted to win what? If you wanted to win notoriety and you wanted the position and you wanted the power, well, then it's obvious because you're going to leave. So it's not to
Yeah.
bash people who don't win.
No,
It's just, I think
'cause I lost.
the route to winning is staying in the game. Like you keep helping.
The
The worst
grassroots.
thing you could do is rise the problems of our community to the top, discuss them, offer answers, and just because you don't get the job,
Abandon it.
you abandon them and then leave those ideas and needs out there. That's what resonates with people. I won in a predominantly Hispanic Democrat district with the last name Brockhouse, even though I am a Latino, right? So, I mean, my mom will tell you I'm 51% Mexican, right? Like she's, well, according to the DNA test, I am at the 23andMe. So, but on the surface, it doesn't look like I should be winning in that district. But when I first ran, I lost, but I kept coming back, and I never disappeared. So, but it's tough for a conservative to win in Bexar County. It's next to impossible, right? So, we just keep coming. Like, just because you don't get the job doesn't mean you can't do a job
Yeah.
to help the city move forward or whatever the issues are that you cared about when you were running.
Correct. There's a saying called you have to touch the heart before you ask for the hand. So I tell candidates all the time, like, you have to get to know your constituents. Find something relatable, either do a survey, go door to door. You have to knock houses. If you do not knock doors in your district, then you're not going to reach the people. They're not going to win. They're not going to find you at the clubs, at the society clubs, conservative clubs. But so politics is emotional, right? And people are emotional headline readers, and they're motivated and swayed by headlines. And I always tell people, like, don't be a headline reader. Like, take the headline and search the topic that they're trying to bait you with, because it's going to be something else, like, opposite. It might not be what the headline portrays. But I feel like 2026, everybody's either tired, ready for something new. Like, we're ready for a political reset. Like, let's do this. Like, it's like, I don't know. I just recently took a break since September till now. This is the first time I'm talking about politics. So I took a mental break, focused on my family, my grandbabies, and I was like, right, Jessica, I'm done with politics. Here I go again.
Our lipstick.
That's what I did during the time, was create a lipstick brand and launch that. So Red Lip Latina Beauty. I think your color is red,
I think so too.
right?
I think so too.
But that was successful because we're sold out. So I think we have 5 Patriot Reds left, right? But I took time to focus on me, because I was like, my identity was all politics, and I love politics, don't get me wrong. But I was tired of it too, and I'm ready now. Like, I told Jessica, okay, I'm ready. Like, January 1st, you get 100% of political readiness. I've met all the candidates. Like, where do we go from here? And I'm just like, let's do this, So that's why I brought you back, because I thought, let's talk about the future of 2026. Like, what is coming to us? What's on the ballot? Who are you excited for? What races should people look out for? Now, one thing I'm going to say as a disclaimer is, because people always call me on voting election day, who do I vote for? Cindy, can you screenshot the ballot? Circle it for me. And I'm just like, guys, like, you can't always depend on me, because sometimes I'm tired too, but I know who to vote for. But that doesn't mean I want to tell everybody vote for, unless you see it on my social medias and I tell you I support that person, and that's a different story. But right now, I'm just kind of like, do your research, guys. Come on, like, I'm tired. But let's do this, because the new year, I'm ready. So what do we have to look forward to? Tell us some of that.
So early vote starts in the middle of February, and the election is the first Tuesday in March. So we're less than 70 days from the primary election, and then, of course, the general rolls into the first Tuesday of November. So we've got a lot of people on the ballot, and we did actually have more conservatives filing for races this go-round than we did the last cycle. But there's a dynamic in Bexar County that's very difficult to beat. And we'll just start with the basic facts of why it's important that we all get out and vote. So Republicans occupy a space where if a Republican were to come out today, right, and run, well, we do it. Like we have Patrick Von Dolan running for county judge. We have Ashley Foster running for district attorney. We've got these county-wide races, right? Somebody comes out in the county and runs today as a Republican. Chances are they're maxed out at about 42%. That's the highest we're going to get. So statistically speaking, you just go back and look at the previous elections. Donald Trump, no higher than 42. Greg Abbott, no higher than 42. Any Bexar County judge race, we're going back to 2022, right, when the last 4-year cycle hit countywide. Not off years, I'm strictly referencing presidential years, but now we have an off year coming up. But most of the time, though, we know exactly where we're going to land, which is where there's about 32 to 34% solid Republican voters that have a strong consensus history of voting Republican. And then there's about 8 to 10% that we're able to pull that are independents. Some Democrats that have a split history or whatever, right? So that gets us to about this 40 to 42% range that we have in the county. So we're in a lot of trouble right from jump. We're down 8-9 points in a race.
So what that means to everyday normal constituents and listeners means that there are not enough conservatives or Republicans to win a race outright.
We can't win. We're already down 9 points. You walking in the door. So you have to then think, okay, we have to put ourselves in a position to go out and get votes of people who don't normally think we're their party or we're their candidate.
Voters,
I'll give you a great example. 2019, I lost by a point, right? Or it was a tough election, right? We're talking about maybe like 1,400 votes go the other way. It's mine in the mayoral race. Fast forward to this year, 2025. Rolando Pablos, loses by triple that, right? So he loses by 8, right? And that's not that Rolando wasn't a great candidate. Rolando is absolutely the candidate we would want, Mexican-born, Spanish speaker, best resume imaginable. Like, a fantastic candidate. But the dynamics have shifted so badly for us in the city side and just as bad in the county side that we're always running against the wind here. So if we're not able to pull a chunk of people that normally would never vote for us, we're dead in the water. So that leaves us to several races, a handful that are ours. We're outdoors, by the way. That's where the leaves are falling, just in case you're wondering why leaves are falling or in the fall. There's a handful of races that you got to keep an eye on that are ours, right, that we're going to win no matter what. Well, actually, even then I'll contend that we're in some trouble on that too. But we have seats that are predominantly ours, probably 3 or 4, maybe 5. And the other 30 or 40 are completely Democrat seats. So what things to look out for, right? I think we've redistricted, right? So we came through and then had this redistricting fight and created 5 new congressional districts in the state of Texas. And it triggered this whole national battle with the Democrats. Remember, they got in their plane and flew to Illinois, right? The most heavily gerrymandered state in the nation. They went and hit out with Governor J.B. Pritzker and tried to fight it. Then they had to come back and they gave up. Like typical of the Democrats in Austin. All talk, no game. They ended up getting beat at the box like they always do. But in Bexar County, they beat us at the ballot box all the time. So what that did create was a few extra congressional seats, 2 of which are we're staring down here in San Antonio. So races to watch are what's important. Number one, we got to get out and help our conservative candidates. I don't care how you do it. Tell a friend. To get on the phone when the time comes, make a few phone calls, send a few texts, show up at club events, get out and early vote, go knock a door. I mean, there's 1,000 things you can do.
Volunteer.
We don't need to get into the nuts and bolts of it. But here are the people who need our help, right? We got CD 35, U.S. Congress 35. John Lujan's going to be a great race to watch. Lujan represented the House District 118 for 2 election cycles. The first Republican to win that seat since Reconstruction. So he won a seat that Republicans don't win in. Now he's going to hold down the 35th. He's got some challengers, though. Yeah. But he's our guy. He's the one we want in the seat. But it's going to be an exciting race to watch because we used to be held by Greg Casar out of Austin. It was redistricted. Now it's ours, predominantly Bexar County. So watch John Lujan. Let's get out and help John.
And let me just plug it right in here that John Lujan will be here January 8th, which is next Thursday. So you'll be able to get a full hour of him, what he does for the community, his race, and he's one of my good
John's
friends.
John's a phenomenal. He's a unicorn. You don't get this guy very often. Like his history and his background, firefighter, county sheriff, Bexar County deputy sheriff, his small business owner. He's got an adopted children in his family. His boys are fantastic. His wife's a wonderful person. Their faith. I mean, you go right down the line. The Lujans are who we want in Congress. In fact, I worry more about John than because I just think about John in his entire life. He has to go through to get this job, and then to go to D.C. Like you want John Lujan in D.C., but you also worry about John Lujan in D.C. because he's a good guy. Like we don't want that guy running into the crap that's Washington, D.C. So watch out for Lujan, and then let's get out there, support that. Then we got the 21st Congressional. Chip Roy took off to run for Attorney General, and now that's opened up a seat. And it's like a clown car, man. There's about 15, 20 people in that race. And Mark Teixeira's leading that out of Austin. He's got the most money. He's probably got one seat in the runoff. And so there's not a real Bexar County person that's rising. You've got some names like Kyle Sinclair's running. Michael Wheeler, the former Kendall County GOP chair, out there by Bernie. You got this veteran Jason Cahill. Weston Martinez is out there. So you've got a lot of names, but nobody's really broken through that. We'll keep an eye on that one. It's going to be very interesting. And then Tony Gonzalez over in the 23rd Congressional. Disclaimer, I'm a 100% Tony Gonzalez supporter. I don't think we should be challenging Tony, but hey, Brandon Herrera's back for round 2. Tony's a good man. And Kiko Canseco jumped in too, which doesn't make a lot of sense. This is purely a runoff. If there is a runoff, which most likely will be between Brandon and Tony. Tony has taken more arrows than anybody should take. Personal, professional. It needs to end. It needs to stop. And I'm going to do all I can to make sure that Tony Gonzalez is held to the marker of his record and what he has been, which I think is a fantastic and fine congressman. He's my congressman, and we got to keep an eye out for him too, and we got to get out there and support Tony Gonzalez.
And last election season, Brandon Herrera supported at the end, right? They shook hands, and he ended up supporting Tony Gonzalez. So let's keep that in mind.
He's back, so we barely beat him last cycle. I get it. It makes a lot of sense to come back. Tony is not. Look, then one thing is you got to dig into the lies. Mm-hmm. People will lie. It's just the way of politics now. Because they bank on you, the voter, not paying attention to it. So they lie. It's just funny. Like, it's just, I'll just say it, and then they'll have to live with it. And that crap is what they're doing to Tony. And it attacks and hurts the family. And it attacks Tony personally. Tony can take it because the guy's a warrior. Literally, right? He's service in the military. But people will attack, and they think, well, if I can just say it enough times, it'll be believed. And then, by the way, that person, then once they start fighting it, well, then I'll just look at him and say, well, what are you fighting it for? Oh, you must be guilty. Like, you can't win, right? So Tony's got a job to do. We got to get out there and support him. And then there's a few House district races I want you to think about too. We got Mark DeRazio running in the 122, my state rep. Yeah. Mark DeRazio is being challenged by Willie Ning. And then you have Mark LaHood in the 121. With David MacArthur challenging him. Both of our incumbents, Mark LaHood and Mark DeRazio. So they've drawn Republican challengers in the primary, which I think, quote me on this, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yes. And it's embarrassing.
Because they're both on the same side. They're supposed to be both on the same side. So
yeah, I don't, and I get someone will say, well, Greg, you can't tell people not to run. I'm like, I can tell people not to run. I can literally look at you and say, you cannot win. Yes. This guy's been a good representative. What are you doing? You're not one of us. You've never been one of us. You've never helped.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ning and MacArthur are both put up by Texans for Lawsuit Reform, TLR. Oh. They're funding them. They went out and found candidates to run against DeRazio and LaHood because they're mad at DeRazio and LaHood. They're not mad about the treatment of the community or the district or anything of the sort. They're mad that TLR's mad that they didn't get their way, and these two gentlemen have stood up to the lobby. So they went out and found candidates to run. So I just want to make sure everybody knows, whoever sees this, Willie Ning and David MacArthur are there only at the behest of special interests. They don't care about the district. They're running to get a seat because they were paid to do it, man. They were given millions, probably at this point. It's probably going to be millions paid by TLR to boot out 2 fine representatives. Mark DeRazio is my state rep. He's fantastic. Like he's not flashy. He doesn't run around. He's not on the news.
Humble guy.
He's quiet. He's a quiet, determined human being, and he just does his job. Mark's a little more, got more energy to him, a little more bold. So Mark actually is not a little more bold. He's a lot more bold than Mark DeRazio. Yeah. But that's a different way of doing it. But Mark LaHood deserves his position, and he's worked hard to get that. And unfortunately, this intra-party BS, and I think we see it up and down the national politics as well. We see it in we got Tony Gonzalez getting challenged. We've got Erica Kirk fighting with Candace Owens, fighting with Ben Shapiro, fighting with Megyn Kelly, fighting with Michael Knowles, fighting with, everybody's going back and forth and beating each other up. And nobody's
concerned about the other side coming up against us and actually
the Democrats have got to be laughing at some of this. And I mentioned these races locally because these aren't foregone conclusions anymore. Mark LaHood won with 53% of the vote, I think it was. That is not a slam dunk. Joe Strauss used to win that seat 70% plus. It's a tightening race because the Democrats are moving further north. And they're taking into some of these seats and they're making it tougher. Mark DeRazio's in a bit of a safer Republican seat, but nonetheless, it's shrinking a little bit. Our margins are shrinking everywhere. Mark White in District 10, getting tighter. So all these races are shrinking because Republicans, here's the thing about Democrats, right? This is what the funny part about them is. They start making a little money, they have a business, they leave where they're at, and they start moving further north, getting into they start caring about different things with their bills, their debt, these other things. They move up into these areas that are predominantly Republican, and what you're seeing is the weakening of the Republican base in a lot of these seats. Precinct 3 is another example. Grant Moody, fantastic commissioner, of course, big supporter of Grant Moody. But Grant, his race was also tightening over the years. Like what used to be a 60% plus wins is now a 55% win. So we just got to be cognizant of these things. And the Bexar County Republican Party is doing all they can, right? But they can't jump in and tell people to get out. But we do have to get behind these nominees when they come here. But the number one thing I would encourage people to do is, hey, man, stick to the facts. I've had the personal attacks. It destroys. Nobody cares, like, oh, the family. Like, nobody thinks about Tony Gonzalez's family. Let's just say this crap about Tony, and if it sticks, it sticks. Well, I'm here to say enough about saying this crap about anybody. What idea do you have that's better than the guy that's got the job? Yep. And then hold them to it, and let's see where it goes, and let them run. In fact, fine, we're going to have these challengers. We're going to have these challengers. I would ask that everybody be real about what the true records. I was supporting Trish DeBerry, right? People were mad at calling Trish DeBerry a rhino. The woman's voted 100% Republican her entire life. I can't even say that. Yeah. So I can. I can. I voted, even though they said the opposite about me. I voted for Nico LaHood in a Democrat primary for DA years ago. I voted for Nico. He's in the Democrat primary. I went and voted in the Democrat primary for Nico. Wow. So think deeper than some assault on Facebook, especially when it's personal. I think that if you're attacking something on the record, you can go research that. If you're attacking the personal, you can't. Like if the candidate can't fight back against your blank, 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 whatever lie comes out, they can't fight it back. So just be thoughtful about that. And, I'm going to do my best I can to help these people. But those are great races. And then, of course, the statewide, got to keep an eye on what's going on with the Attorney General, what's happening with, I think that race with Ken Paxton, John Cornyn, and Wesley Hunt's going to be fantastic. We're going to see where the direction of the state party. We got a lot of good stuff brewing, but locally, let's keep our eyes on that. We got to get engaged for March. But more importantly, then we got to pivot to November because we're up against it. And let's say, I'll give you a good bellwether whether we're going to be in trouble in November or not. If the Republicans don't come up with an answer for the ACA subsidies, we're gonna get destroyed in November. Affordability and economics of a family's economics, their wallet, their checking account. If we don't answer the perception of affordability or the reality of affordability issues, we're gonna get destroyed at the ballot box in Bexar County. ACA holding back the subsidies may play well in Washington, D.C., but it doesn't play well in Bexar County. And when people have to pay more for their health care, they have to pay more for gas, they have to pay more for this and that, they're going to turn against us. But in 2022, it was Dobbs. We had a big win as a party when we eliminated the abortion at the Supreme Court. Excuse me, it was a bug right there. I was getting a little distracted. So when Dobbs' ruling happened, it changed the entire dynamic, and we got destroyed in November of 2022 as a party. Across the country, we lost heavily in Bexar County. We lost everything. So here we are again with a massive national issue, healthcare, ACA subsidies, affordability, that if we don't answer, the national politics affect the local politics, and we're going to get destroyed again. So we have to have answers for why does it cost more for somebody to live?
Well, economy was number one issue. Last year when I went and did some surveys in 2025, 2024, and 2023, economy is the number one issue that people are worried about because that directly affects them at home, what they eat, what they do without, what they eliminate. You know, they have to put less gas, $10 just to get to where they're going, you know? Do they have health care? Did they have to drop it because they couldn't afford it? They couldn't afford the deductible? They can't afford the prescriptions, you know? It's a domino effect. And when people tell me, Cindy, I'm not interested in politics. Well, politics affects the soup you make at home, the gas you take to H-E-B, your run on the highway. You know, it affects every single thing that's part of your life. It affects your children, their education, their beliefs. It affects whether they're impacted, you know. It affects your property taxes, whether you can afford to keep your home or you're going to lose it, you know. So I don't want to say like politics is bad, but it's necessary. And it's necessary for everybody to stop being a spectator and get involved. There's so many ways to get involved. Even if you just talk to your neighbor and invite them to an event. We hold events, we hold neutral, non-political events, right? We get to know people, and then once they're interested in politics, then we inform them unbiased. We teach them about policy, about education, about healthcare, criminal justice reform. I teach them about anything and that's going to be affecting them right here, right now, right? I do want to mention two things, though. So me and Jessica, we were grateful to be invited by the Honorable Mark LaHood, and we spent some time at his campaign office, and that was nice.
Oh, yeah.
We do have Mr. Mark DeRazio coming on the show soon, and we also have previously had Mark LaHood. But the reason I bring them on the shows is so y'all can get to know them as people before you get to know them as a candidate. Now, they will talk about their campaigns or their offices that they hold, but we do support them 100%. So you can make the decision as to how you vote, but that's why we bring them here to you. Actually, that's how I ended up with the radio show, is because I would tell people the honest truth. They listened. I told them in English and Spanish, and Saul was the one that said, you know what, Cindy, you need to have a talk show because you're the only one that says it without emotion.
Yeah.
So politics is emotional, you know, it's hurtful sometimes. And that's why I feel like this year, 2026, like after tonight, after you do your firecrackers and celebrate with your family, like tomorrow morning, if you think about me, I know you're going to think about politics or red lipstick. So
get your voter registration card.
Yeah, go sign up to vote. I tell
Yeah.
people you're not truly free unless you get your passport, get your driver's license up to date, keep your driving record free, keep your social security, and the next one is your voter card. You need your voter card. Like that's proof that you're free, that you have freedom of speech, that you have the right to go and cast your vote in the ballot for items that matter. So it is really important to get out and vote. And if you're afraid to vote, go with somebody. Take somebody with you. Call a friend. Take your mom, your neighbor. But everybody has to get behind. You heard the stats right now from Greg's mouth. There are not enough conservatives in Bexar County to win an election.
Not enough people go out and do it.
And then the ones that are eligible to go vote because they're conservative Republicans, they sit there with their arms crossed, mad at home, judging somebody by a stupid rumor that they heard. That makes me mad. Don't get me mad.
Yeah.
But so that's why we do this kind of show. So people think like, oh, you know, I put in my time.
It's not
of work.
just a label. It's things that we all should care about. All of us, no matter what side of the fence you're at. And if you're just sitting at home and complaining about it, you're not doing your due diligence by voting.
Yeah, or your biblical duty, right? The next thing that I was going to say is that the name rhino. When I hear that word come out of somebody's mouth, I immediately discredit them and all their knowledge and their experience. I don't care where they're from. If they're going to call somebody a rhino, I'm like, Republican in name only. Like, call me a rhino. To me, I'm like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I remember calling you like, complaining and crying. And I've cried so much to John Lujan too. I mean, y'all both have heard my pain and, you know, going through the years, but call me a rhino, because I will outwork a lot of people. There's only one name on the ballot this time around that I will not support, but let me tell you that I have made that promise to that person before and said, checkmate, because I will outwork you and your entire campaign. But anyway, go along with the word rhino. That's emotional, right? Like I'm confessing here. You know?
I laugh at it. It is emotional. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying how you handle it is 100% legitimate, because I was there years ago too. Now I just laugh at these people because you can't really. I don't know. There was this person on Facebook the other day, and I love. People think, you know, man, you're on Facebook all the time.
Keyboard warriors.
I go out there for like 10 minutes. I post something, and then I just pull the ripcord and I get out and I let the thing kind of percolate and I laugh. Yeah. But I also know that if I put, people are like, man, why are you posting? It doesn't matter. I say, because in politics, I'm going to put out there what I think. And people say, why do that? They're going to come after you and attack you. I said, yeah, maybe if 100 people comment, sure, 10 people are going to attack me. But 90 people are going to get good information. And they're going to know where I'm at. They're going to know where I stand. And the day we stop engaging, I think, is a real problem. And unfortunately, social media is the town hall of our time. I mean, it is what it is. If you want to get involved in politics or you want to have a political opinion, or the place to do it is no longer showing up at the clubs, or there's not rallies or these kinds. We don't do that. The town hall is social media. That's where the town hall of the conversations of politics, that's what you really learn. Unfortunately, though, it also has a lot of disinformation and misinformation, lies, and whatever you want to call it. One of the biggest lies is this rhino argument. I posted about Mark D'Orazio being a big supporter, and I said Willie Ning, which I know Willie, and I didn't even name him in the post. I just said he's being challenged. D'Orazio is being challenged by somebody, and this person is bought paid for by TLR, but I didn't name him. And then this person, there's a troll on social media. Her name's Amanda. And this troll has like 120 friends. It's been around, the page's been around for 5-6 years. And then they say they live in New Braunfels, right? This person. And it could be a she, he, they, him, they, them, she. I don't even know what it could be. It could be anything. Like, we don't know what this person is behind the scenes. I don't mean that disrespectfully. Could be anything. So I post this, and they come back and they start trashing me. Oh, Brockhouse is a rhino, and he's this, and he's a liar, and he's attacking Willie Ning. She named Willie Ning as the person, and his wife is and he's destroyed this, and he's all about himself, and anytime he gets his feelings hurt on social media, he calls the commentator. I was laughing. So my response 5 years ago would have been like, hey, hold on a second. Blah, 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 blah. I would have typed the response to call her BS out. I clicked the little laughing emoji, the haha. I clicked it and I put LOL, sure. And I just let it go, right? Like, I just was like, you're a joke. So even that was probably giving him too much credit. But the minute I'm not a Republican, okay, here's my view. First of all, that person's never shown up anywhere, right? My marker, if I am going to take your feedback seriously, number one, how you deliver it. I think that's important, right? And do you know your business? How do you deliver it? And then past how you deliver it, because I don't really, if I don't know you, have I ever seen you anywhere? Have you shown up and helped a candidate? Nobody knows who this person is. And do I think it's actually the person's actually named Amanda? Maybe so, but I think it could be just somebody else, because every post is a political hit job. That there's no, hey, this is my kids, and this is my wedding, this is my, I went on this vacation, I did this. It's all political hits. So this is what I would encourage you to got to discern. There's a level of discernment. And discernment's not just a political term, it's not a life term, it's a biblical and faith term as well. When you discern, the level of discernment is, okay, what's really going on here, right? That bug got me right there. We're outside. So what's really happening here, and how much of my energy do I give it? So if somebody calls you a rhino, right there, you should discern immediately that they are the rhino.
Exactly.
Right? Because
the plant.
They're a fool. Like, oh, you're not Republican enough. Why? Because I friends with Henry Rodriguez from LULAC? Guys, the old man's my friend. You're a rhino. Or why? Because I think Willie Ning should not be running against Mark D'Orazio. I would tell you this. If you decide to vote this cycle in March in the Republican primary, welcome to the Republican Party. You're a Republican. You're not a Republican in name only. You're not a Republican part-time. You're not a Republican 100% of the time. You're just a Republican now. You're a conservative. Welcome to the family. I don't care if you've only voted with us one time. Welcome to the family. How come it took you that long to get here? I don't know. But I'm glad you're here, right? So anybody who starts this litmus test crap, and that's what we're seeing nationally with the Charlie Kirk, this meltdown of Turning Point, Erica Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, this total meltdown is they've lost track of these basic facts, is that like there's room for everybody. And the best Republican that I can ask for is one that finally ultimately comes and joins us and votes. Well, and we have candidates running this cycle that have decided to join us as a party, and they flip seats. We want those people. Yeah, you're one of us now. Welcome to the club. Desi Martinez down to 118. Desi is John Lujan's choice, an endorsed candidate to replace him. He's a good man. He's a businessman. He's a South Side born and raised, bred. I mean, just picture perfect candidate we want running. He became a Republican over the last year. More power to you. Yeah. You're not a rhino. You're not a fake. You're a Republican. If you say it out loud, this is what I am. Welcome to the club and welcome to the family. If therefore I turn around and hold the, well, yeah, but you didn't do this or you didn't do that, or God forbid you think the LGBT issue's okay, or right, like, or whatever your problem is, and you start picking some stupid issue to tear somebody down, you're the rhino. You need to go away and get lost. And we don't want you in the party because all you do is help Democrats. You're a Republican in name only if you're attacking fellow Republicans. Now, attacking, though, this person was like, you can't be calling him out. You said don't attack Republicans. Oh, no. If you're in a battle and you're in a campaign, you're going back and forth, it's okay to discuss the issues. Yep. I'm not saying don't attack the issues. All day long, we should. But we're well past that with these people who attack as rhinos. Rhino is not an issue attack. It's calling you a Democrat, a liberal, a fake, a liar. It's a personal attack. Yep. So I push back heavily on that. So only because, hey man, I always believe that a lot of Democrats in Bexar County they're Republican. They just don't know it because they've grown up in the system. They were raised that way, and they just don't know.
That's what happened to.
They don't know.
That's what happened to my family. We came over here to America, and we were brainwashed to be Democrats because you get everything. And then little by little, I converted, but by researching, not by listening to celebrity endorsements or things like that, just by doing my research and having my own discernment.
Yep, definitely. And I always say people are born with the little blue feet on their birth certificate. But if you talk to them one-on-one, it's so easy to bring them over because then they realize that their values are not with the Democrat Party, that they are truly conservative Republicans.
There was a poll out last week, congressional Democrat approval ratings at 18%. 18%.
So if you don't approve, why are you voting over there? The
lowest it's been in 70 years or something like that. So their message doesn't sell, but it does locally. So whatever's nationally, it affects us locally, but we're on the other side of that. So we have to be real. We have to be real about who we are as Republicans in Bexar County too. We cannot win without pulling independents and moderate Democrats on a county-wide situation here. In fact, in a lot of seats too, we need independents. That independent block of that 18 to 22% of that independent vote's super important to us as Republicans. It's less important to Democrats, but it's more important to Republicans because we need them more than the Democrats do. So we have to, look, it's okay. Let's just close with this. I think as we're going into a new year, the things we can do, right? I think we have to be more open to going to places to meet people where they are. So one of the things we struggle with as Republicans mightily, because generally speaking, we have better educational attainment rates. We have more income in the families. There's a bit of an uneven socioeconomic thing between a Republican and a Democrat. And you're right, the Democrats fill that gap by giving the money, right? By keeping people in poverty. I believe that about Democrats. They're always oppressed, right? Democrats are always fighting oppression. Yet they're in charge of a lot of the oppression, whatever. Okay, but hey, they're always oppressed. They're never happy. Republicans tend to be more happy if you leave them alone. So what we have to recognize is that all of this is going on and people feel a certain way. So Republicans cannot, in this cycle, expect people to meet us where we are. where we are is, well, this is what we should have: smaller government, less taxes, lower property tax rates, screw Project Marvel, all these other things. Ding, 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 right? You need to come to where we're at. The truth is, we need to meet voters where they are. And if we meet them where they are, we'll convince them to vote for us. Or at the very least, maybe not this cycle, they'll tear down a wall or some perception about what the Republican Party is. So we don't have success for people when we expect them to meet us where we are. We have success with people in all walks of life when we find a way to meet them where they are. So we got to go out in these neighborhoods. We got to knock doors and show ourselves. And we got to be present for people that don't have what we have, and that's this discernment, this understanding of what it means to be a Republican. People don't care. They don't care. So we got to get out there and we got to show who we are. We got to walk down Hackberry and try to get votes, down Porter Street on the east side. We got to go down the south side in Zarzamora. We got to go down Southwest Military. We got to get into Rhodes Elementary, Rhodes Middle School. We got to go places where they don't expect us. Show them who we are and earn their trust, and maybe we get their vote eventually in the future. That's what we have to do. We have to get out of our shell of who we think we are and then accept it. Like, I hate it when we fight the LGBT issue and we demean certain San Antonians because they have a different way of life. We weaponize our faith as Republicans to separate people. Okay, I mean, you're seeing or you live in a different life. Like, where can I find common ground with you? And how can I find some issue? Okay, you don't believe in God. You're not a faith-based person. Well, let's talk. I can still earn something from you. I can still build some relationship. And I just hope we do that, which is to go places where people don't expect us to be and accept people for who they are and try to earn their vote. And if I think we do that, we'll run a track back as a party across the county.
Definitely. So even you can relate with tacos. Like, hey, you like tacos? Man, tacos are expensive now. They really are. They're almost like $5-6 a taco. But that's even a conversation starter. But that's why. So I just want to correct one thing. When I first got the radio show, it wasn't named after lipstick. Like, Red Lip Latina was conservative talk. And I tell people, that's why it's named that. The lipsticks came later. That came, from the commenters and the viewers, suggested that. But so I am super grateful to be and have Jessica along my side, that we are the only Latina conservative talk radio. So thank God our radio show goes throughout Texas and different parts of Texas. But even though we talk about here locally from San Antonio, Bexar County, but we do talk about DC too. So we have some exciting things coming in the new year about Washington and Washington politics. But we also will cover most of the candidates. I tried to talk to all of them and get them on here, but we'll be having about 3 per show coming up starting January 8th. But I wanted to say one funny thing about block walking. So I had a block walker and a door knocker or a canvasser, whatever you want to call it. We go door to door. And she said, "I'm nervous. Why do I got to go to that door?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You're giving me all the swingers." She goes, "What if they open the door naked?" And I said, "Oh my gosh." And I was like, "No worry. Let me tell you what a swinger is. A swinger votes from party to party. They vote Democrat and Republican." And she was just so grateful. I mean, we died laughing because she didn't understand what a swing voter was.
Oh my God, so she got swingers.
Yeah, she was so afraid. I'm like, "Why are you so scared to go to the door?" I thought she was afraid of something else. And then she showed me the app. Look, it says they're swingers. I was like, no.
People do answer
But they do answer the door like
in
that.
various state of dress.
Yes.
Block walking nightmare.
But one quote that you told me a long time ago was, "The rising tide raises all ships." So now you're going to have to give me a new quote. What's the motivational quote for the new year?
Oh, I thought that I'm sorry. That's my quote. Don't expect people to meet us where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Our route to success is to find people where they are, meet them there, and that's how we're going to win. So drop your expectations of people. I mean, I think you want the best for people.
Yes, for sure.
But let's go meet people where they're at. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing we can do as a party. That's what you can do in your faith, in your work, in your business. It applies to all aspects of our life, which is, don't expect them to be where you're at, morally, faith-wise, business-wise, period. Let's go find them.
Yep.
And I think if we do that, we'll be successful. So thank you for the time here today.
Thank
I'll
you.
let y'all wrap up. But
Yes,
I want to thank you. You got to listen. It's a great year. I can't believe it's 2026. But, be safe. and be thankful. I got better at accepting a lot of politics when I thought to myself, I woke up, it's a good day. Like, no matter what, I got another day. And they never keep me down. I just keep coming. I mean, sometimes I walk in a room, people are like, oh, God. But in some rooms I walk into, more rooms than not, and it's like, where have you been?
Yeah.
So just remember that. They can never beat you, right?
Yeah.
I think Denzel Washington said that, like, they can't cancel me because I never joined the game. Like, I never played. You can't cancel somebody not part of the game.
Yep.
So thank you, and I appreciate y'all, and hope you have a wonderful year. Much success to the show as well. I'll let y'all close it out right now.
All right. Well, thank you, Greg. Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
so much for
Give
coming.
me a big hug.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good holiday.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, guys. Well, this is going to conclude our show. I'm going to have Otto take us out. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. It's going to be a new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
If you don't have any goals in life, I mean, make some tonight. If you don't know how to make a goal, write down one thing that you want to do, and then just work on that. Work on yourself.
One day
be
at a
happy.
time.
Be healthy. Be free. That's the biggest thing right there. So, all right, Jessica, you got anything to take us out with?
Just be thankful, wake up and be thankful that you're breathing. Be thankful for your current situation and take it from there.
All right, and just one more announcement is coming to you at the last Wednesday of January and the last Wednesday of February. We are bringing back Working Women's Wednesday with Red Lip Latina. So we look forward to having you there. It's been really successful. Usually about men and women show up, right? But usually about 80 to 120 people show up. We meet new people out in the community. We get, to know them better. I know it's like a leafy situation here, but we're gonna go. The leaves and the bugs are flying on us, and but we're grateful that you tuned in. We'll see you next Thursday with January 8th with future Congressman, the Honorable John Lujan. Thank y'all for tuning in. Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap for today on Red Lip Latina Radio. We tackled the issues, we lifted up our community, and we kept it bold, real, and unapologetic. But the conversation doesn't stop here. We stay loud, stay proud, and stay engaged. Follow us, join the movement, and let's keep making noise for San Antonio, Texas, and the whole USA. Until next time, keep your head high, your lipstick bold, and your voice even bolder. Nos vemos, familia.